What's up, everybody? This is Nick with the Comeback Journey podcast. Here with me today is Staci Pappazi. She is a business owner. She has her own insurance agency here in San Diego. Pappazi Insurance. If anybody needs insurance, give her a call. We've known each other for a while. I'm good friends with her sons, and I asked her to be on here. She's a well-established person in the community, and I feel like she has a great story, so I'm really excited to hear it. Let's dive in. Staci,
Hi.
tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm from Florida originally. That's where I was born and raised. I moved out when I joined the Coast Guard when I was 21. Funny story is, most people are like, partying, woo woo, 21st birthday. I joke that I was, doing push-ups and throwing up on the beach because somebody was yelling at me, you can do one more. I'm like, I really can't. So that was my 21st birthday. Did some time in the Coast Guard and then got out and started the wonderful world of insurance and ultimately ended up here in San Diego talking to you.
So you joined the Coast Guard when you were 21.
I did.
When did you move to San Diego?
In 1992 when Casey was born, my youngest of three, Kenneth, Cody, and Casey, and he was born in San Diego at Alvarado Hospital. So how old is he? 1992, he's 27.
Okay.
So 27 years I've been here now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how long have you been doing insurance?
Since Kenneth was born, it was my first job out of the Coast Guard. I was a radioman. I know Morse code. My brain is full of useless information. And I worked at Allied Insurance at the time up in Northern California because that's where I was living. And so Kenneth is now 30, so I've been doing insurance for 30 years.
Wow, long time. So every time you're on the phone, you know exactly what you're talking about.
I hope. Sometimes I'll let me double check that.
So you have 3 children.
Yes.
What was it like raising 3 boys?
So I was single for a while and it was a lot of work, and they are very close in age. They are now 27, 28, and 30. So they were very close in age. And it's just busy. You just do what you do. They are rambunctious. They each have their own personality. Is always a challenge when you have more than one, and it was busy. It was fun, but it comes with the challenges of being a parent, and it was challenging. But it was fun. They've grown up to all be great kids, and that's all you can hope for as a parent, is that your kids get through their trials and tribulations and become functioning people in society, and that's what you hope for.
Yeah. My mom has 3 boys also. I'm the middle child, and she says it was rough. She's still a single parent, so she did it, I think since I was 12, is when my parents got divorced, 11 or 12, and she pretty much did it by herself that whole time. So,
which is tough, because then you're coming into the teenage years.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of fighting amongst the siblings.
That's painful. That's very painful. That's tough. I admire your mom for that, because it is not an easy journey. Those teenage years are no fun. And the kids, these kids these days, they think their parents didn't try to invent things. And so I always had I need to talk to their parents before you spend the night. Oh, Mom, you're the only parent that does that. I'm like, yeah, because I know how this works. You call the parents and, well, never mind, we're not going to spend the night tonight because, clearly that wasn't the plan to begin with. So we had a lot of overnights that fell through because,
Funny story, I think it was yesterday, my little cousin, she's a junior in high school. She texted me and she was like, hey, can you do me a favor? And I was at work, and I was like, yeah, what's up? So she called me and she was like, I need you to pretend to be somebody's parent because we're going to a sleepover. And I was like, no. It's like, I'm not gonna do it. Sorry. You could ask my other brother,
right?
But I don't.
But when you're that child, you just think your parents are the worst ever,
right.
and
it's
how
the
could
end
they
of the
do
world
this?
if it doesn't happen.
Yes, I know. And these teenagers, they just think they've invented it all. Guess what? You haven't. We started all those things, and our parents probably started them. So there's that.
Yeah, probably. I mean, even before phones,
Oh yeah.
But how do you pretend that? Like, how do you? I feel like
It
it would be tough.
It is a little bit different these days because you can find friends, and parents can track you a little bit more, and they can put stuff on your
Find My Phone. Yeah.
Yep, absolutely, as they should.
Yeah.
These kids get into trouble, do things they shouldn't.
Yeah.
So yes, it's not a bad thing. They think it is. You're the worst parent ever, but ultimately.
They'll get over it.
They will. A funny story about Casey, the youngest. I never let anybody watch South Park because
I wasn't
just
allowed to watch it either.
See, yeah, just didn't sit in with the things. And, well, everybody else gets to watch. I'm like, well, I'm not everybody else's parents. Well, now he's a young man, and he's like, Mom, that was probably a really good call not letting us watch South Park. I can see why we probably shouldn't have been watching that as young people. I'm like, thank you for recognizing that wasn't appropriate.
Okay, so you said you grew up in Florida.
I did.
How was that?
I love Florida. It's hot, it's humid, but when you grow up there, it's all you know.
Yeah.
So all you know is heat and humidity and not having air conditioning and just sweaty all the time. But when it's all you don't know that there's beautiful San Diego that's dry and awesome and so much better. And you don't have flying cockroaches and scorpions everywhere. Ugh.
Scorpions in Florida?
Yeah. My parents built a house and did a whole bunch of tree trimming. So I went to go get in the bathtub one night, and little tiny. I mean, they're not huge; they're like that big, but they're still scorpions. I'd like to pass on things like that.
Yeah, I'm not down with scorpions.
Yeah, and I'm not down with flying cockroaches either. Those things are brutal. You go to spray them, and they just come flying. Ugh.
Heebie-jeebies.
Heebie-jeebies. I don't miss those bugs at all. They are no fun.
So you have 3 children. Do you have any siblings?
I have half siblings,
Okay.
and I actually have half brothers. So I'm the oldest, and then I have 3 half brothers.
Okay.
And one of them lives in Florida, and one of them lives in Los Angeles, and one of them lives here in San Diego.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, and we're a real tight-knit group. I mean, the 4 of us are thick as thieves, and even though I didn't grow up with them, people who know us and see us are like, wait, you guys aren't, together? You didn't grow up together? We're like, no. So it's a great relationship with my brothers.
That's cool how genetics plays a part in that, where you're so similar even though you didn't grow up together.
Right, very much so. Yeah, like I didn't grow up with my dad, and I'm basically the female version of him. I'm definitely his little mini-me, just a girl version.
So your half brothers, do you have the same mom or the same dad?
Same dad.
Same dad.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have same dad, different moms. So.
When did your parents split up?
Oh gosh, I was like 2.
Oh, okay.
Super young. And I don't ever remember them together. And then
Yeah.
my mom was a single mom for the rest of her time. But my mom was a challenge. She was bipolar, manic depressive, whatever you want to call it. But it was before they really knew what bipolar and manic depression was. So I would come home from school and she'd be asleep, and she would sleep for 16, 18 hours at a time. And then the next week she was on her manic stage, and she'd just be blah, 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 just going nuts and never sleeping. And so it was pretty good when they finally got her a little bit balanced out, but unfortunately it was after I moved out, so I didn't really reap the whole benefits of that. And our parents, they do the best they can with the skill set they have. She didn't have a great skill set, but thank goodness my dad's genes are really strong. So that I'm not batshit crazy like she is.
I mean, clearly you turned out okay. You can say whatever you want.
Okay. Yeah, she was, she thank goodness for my dad's gene pool, because she was interesting. Sometimes it was like, do I have a mom? Do I have a sister? Not exactly sure what I got going on here.
Not a whole lot of clear boundaries.
Oh, no boundaries.
No,
none. There was no boundaries. There was no real parenting skills, and there was none of that. And she was up, down, off the wall. Like I said, now that they've managed manic and bipolarisms, it's a lot better. But before they did, I mean, you didn't know. I mean, you didn't understand. And she'd just be so high strung, and then she'd be so not. And then of course she, got involved in some things that were not the best lifestyle choices as a person and as a mother, didn't set the best examples of how you should be.
Yeah.
So she had lots of people in her world that probably were not the best influence on a young girl. Let's just put it like that.
Was she young when she had you?
Yes, she was only 20 when she had me, and my dad was only 19. So my mom has since passed, but my parents are really young, and so, but it was fun. I liked having young parents, and of course then I in turn was a pretty young parent, because I was 22 when Kenneth was born.
Okay.
So
pretty young.
Yeah, especially nowadays it's kind of considered young.
Yeah.
So, but it was good. I liked having my kids young. I like that they're grown up now, and I can free to enjoy my life, and I'm still healthy, and I can still do things and travel and be in a position to where they're okay and they're doing their thing. And
You can kind of be Stacy and not mom.
Right, exactly. And it's such a nice phase. Like my brothers, they waited to have kids way late in life, and my brother's gonna be 50 next year, and he's got, oh, I don't know, 12 and 14-year-old. I'm like, thanks, have fun with that. I'm gonna go travel. See ya. You take care of that 12 and 14-year-old son, just entering teenage years. Good luck with that at 50.
Yeah. My mom, she had my older brother, who, for reference for the viewers, my older brother and Stacy's oldest son were in the same graduating class at the same high school. I don't know if you knew that.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so they both graduated in 2007 from Magic Henry.
Okay.
And then Cody, your middle child, he and I graduated together, and Casey was a year younger.
Right.
But my mom had my older brother when she was 28, and then me when I was 30, and then my younger brother she had when she was 36.
Oof.
And I remember I was like 5 years old, and my parents like sat us down, my older brother and I, and they're like, how do you feel about having a brother? You know, not that there was any choice in it, but I was like, no. Yeah, so he just moved out. He's 22. He's 22 years old now. It's crazy to think about.
Time flies.
But he just moved out, and it was like, I don't know how my mom was like, her mentality about like she finally has the house to herself.
Right.
But he moved out the day after Christmas, this past Christmas, and I just moved back in 4 days ago. So she had like a month of the house to herself.
Well, I think they are calling your generation the boomerang generation, because you leave and then come back and leave and come back. So they're just calling you guys like the boomerang generation.
I haven't heard that, but it's accurate for me at least.
Yeah.
I've gone back, I think, 3 times.
You know, but it happens, and you're fortunate that, and my kids are fortunate too, that if something does happen, you have parents you can count on. You know, place to go back to, which is nice and it's comforting.
Yeah, my mom and I have a great relationship. We didn't for a few years, but we're good now, and I'm excited to like have like a place that I can go and like be comfortable and not be stretched so thin paying rent.
Right. It's hard here.
It's expensive.
So hard here. Yeah, I feel so bad for this generation, and because it's expensive. I mean, I look around at rents and I'm like, oh my gosh, how much money do you have to survive? And definitely don't have car payments, and work 2 jobs or whatever. But it's crazy.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna leave San Diego after this year.
Are you?
Yeah.
I don't blame it. I mean, I do insurance, and so many times I get that phone call. It's like, oh, well, I need to cancel my policy. And of course, the first thing, why? No, we don't cancel policies here, You got to stay on the books. Like, well, we sold our house and we're moving to Idaho. And I'm like, good for you.
Can't blame you.
There's nothing wrong with that. So have a great time. Oh, I got family back there. I got grandkids, and I just want to enjoy time with them. Like, I can't blame you at all,
Yeah.
If it wasn't for business and family, I probably wouldn't live here, because it's hard. It's expensive. It's not a business-friendly state for business owners, I mean, they make it tough. California's tough. But, we're here. We're good. I like what I do. I like the people I insure, and like Nick.
Yeah, I am. I'm a client.
You are, yes. You're insured. So we're happy.
I am. They do great work, I'm saying. Pappazi Insurance. Okay, so when you said your mom was like a single parent and you lived with her, when did you stay there until you joined the Coast Guard with your mom?
No, I started college, and so my mom and I got into a big fight a week before I graduated high school. She had done something that I didn't agree with, and then she wanted me to cover for her, and I opted not to. So I called my dad and said, Dad, this is what's going on. I want to move out. Come get me. So my dad came and got me, got all my stuff, moved me out. My mom came to my high school graduation but didn't stay, gave my card to somebody else. The only reason she came is because my grandma forced her, because we were fighting and we didn't talk for 6 months. And so I lived with my dad for 2 years, and then I moved to Tampa when I went to college, and so moved out on my own then.
Okay.
And went to college up in Tampa, and then life just took a hard left. Things were not going well. Life was just not going well. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was in a bad relationship, and it just wasn't a pretty picture. And so I basically dropped out of college and joined the Coast Guard, and went home to tell my dad, and he's like, this is what I expect out of my son, not my daughter. And I'm like, I know, but I just gotta go. I gotta get out of the state. I gotta get away from my mother. She's driving me insane. And so I dropped out of college, 1 semester left before I graduated with my bachelor's degree, and signed up for the Coast Guard, left, and spent my 21st birthday, Thanksgiving, and Christmas in boot camp. I know, good times, right? Woohoo! It's cold, Cape May, New Jersey, brr, snowing on us, brr, freezing. So, but
how long were you in the Coast Guard for?
2 years, 2 months, and 1 day.
You got it memorized.
I do. Yes, it's on my DD 214, and I got out because the boy's dad did the same thing that I did, which was a radioman, which no longer exists for anybody who cares. But we, in the Coast Guard, we had 12-hour shifts. And so he and I were on opposite 12-hour shifts, which wasn't really conducive to a 3-month-old baby.
Yeah. And
so then that's when I said, all right, I'll get out. You know, you stay in and I'll get out and I'll look for a job. And that's when I fell into the wonderful world of insurance. And so kind of those 3 months, and now he's 30 years, and here we are.
Did you meet the father of your children in the Coast Guard?
I did.
Oh,
yes.
okay.
We were stationed at Radioman School together.
Okay.
And so, so we met there and got married and had kids and got divorced.
So matter of fact.
Yeah, you know, I mean, life happens, right? You're young and you're out of a bad relationship, and, you know, you're like, yay, somebody loves me, you know? So, yeah, I mean, it was nothing bad or terrible, just sometimes two people aren't compatible, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing wrong. He's a great father. He's a, you know, great person. He was always very active in the boys' lives and very supportive of everything. Just, you know, sometimes people are just two polar opposite people.
Yeah.
And that's all. You know, we're just young and two polar opposite people, and it's like, yeah, this isn't gonna work. So, yeah, it's all good. He's a great dad. He's always very supportive, and that's important.
That's all you can ask for,
right?
Really.
It is, you know, and have a good relationship. We were on the same terms with, because you know how boys are. So they would go over to their dad's house and they'd misbehave, and then they'd come over to my house and be like, oh, do. And so their dad and I finally got on the right page, and like, just so you know, they misbehaved over here, so you need to carry out, you know, no Nintendo or whatever it was they were into at your house. So they'd come home and they'd start talking about, yeah, no, not gonna work. Your dad called and said you guys weren't best kids this weekend. So guess what? No Nintendo all weekend. And they weren't so happy at that, you know. They would have much preferred we had no communication at all.
Sure.
So yeah, so it was great. It was amicable, and there was no issues. So that's always nice.
Yeah.
Especially because, you know, it could have been a whole lot worse.
Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of things that can go wrong in that situation, you know, with parents that split up and.
Yeah. And you see it all the time, you know. You just see it all the time and every day, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm so thankful that wasn't my situation, because I think it made a bigger impact on the boys to know that just because people don't want to be together doesn't mean that they're not cordial and nice and can talk. And, you know, always our best focus was the boys, you know, what is best for them.
Yeah.
Because when you're a parent, that's always your biggest concern. Are you doing the right thing for the kids? You know, are you messing them up by doing this? Because, you know, you guys don't come with books. You don't come with, you know, little, oh, well, on this day they're behaving like this, so this is what you do, you know? And they're all different, and they all have to be treated different. And Kenneth was, you know, he was my little excitable child, and Cody was just like beep, 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 in case he's like, don't bother me, I don't like people. You know,
He's
so
like
the right, he is. So the things that work for one child, you can't apply that same thing to another one because they're different, you know?
Yeah.
So, but they're all good, and it's all happy, and life is awesome.
So what do you do now? Like outside of insurance, like what do you like to do?
Love to travel. If I had my way, I would retire tomorrow and just travel the entire world every single day, but that doesn't happen. But no, I'm fortunate to get to do a lot of traveling. I do a lot of training. I exercise a lot, and I really enjoy triathlons. I started with half marathons, and I get bored easily. So I would run. It's like everybody's, oh, this runner's high. I'm like, I'm still looking for this runner's high. You know, it's like mile 9. Where is it? So I hit mile 9, and I'm just like, ugh, I'm so bored with this. So my brother introduced me to triathlons, and so I've been doing those ever since. I still throw in half marathons once in a while. Have one coming up in a couple weeks, or about a month now.
How long is a triathlon? Like what?
There's different levels, and we always
Okay.
joke about this. So when you tell people, oh, I do triathlons, people are like, oh my God, that's so amazing. And so then we're part of the Tri Club. And so you go to the Tri Club. And then Tri Club people ask you, what distance do you do? You're like, oh, I do sprint. You know, so like all of a sudden you're like all shy about, oh, I just do the little ones when you're with these people who do, you know, full Ironman and half Ironman. And it's just like, yeah, that's a lot. I don't have the time to train for that, nor do I really want to exercise for 9 or 10 hours all in one fell swoop, you know?
Yeah.
So I stick to the smaller distances, and it's just something to help keep in shape, and it's fun though. You get to see a lot, do a lot. The one up in Malibu is my most favorite, and the boys have been up there before watching that one.
Just right on the beach, I'm assuming?
It's right on the beach. It's right on Zuma Beach, and it supports Children's Hospital of LA, which is super cool. But it's just so many people, and there's always celebrities there that do it, and you've got the celebrities that will do the whole thing, and then you've got the other celebrities that will do relays, and they have their own little section, and you know, it's LA, so everything's all fancy pants, but yeah, it's just right on the beach. It's just gorgeous up there, and it's fun. The energy's high, and a ton of people there, and they're all cheering you on, and it's super fun. The waves will freak me out sometimes, but other than that, it's all fun.
Like a big swell while you're trying to swim out there?
Yeah. Last year it was so bad. Last year? Year before? Maybe it was the year before. Anyway, they actually canceled the swim like halfway through because because it was so bad and the waves were so bad that even like really hardcore experienced swimmers were struggling and they were dragging people out of the water. So
it's scary.
It is scary. Yeah, I don't want to die by drowning. I have a phobia of drowning and not being able to breathe. So swimming is really difficult for me because I'm like, I can't breathe. And it freaks me out.
But that's cool that if you have that fear, you can still do it.
I do. Yeah, I have. There's been a couple times where I've struggled, and definitely thankful that had swim buddies with you out there because they help keep you calm and get you back in. But swimming in the ocean can be a little unnerving sometimes. And when you're afraid of drowning, it really happens that. Yeah, you get out there and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't breathe. So.
Is that what all these medals are over here?
They are.
We did position the camera on purpose to get the medals in there.
Because they're fun and they're pretty. Yeah, so the ones on the other side are my half marathons and these are my triathlons.
I just realized that it's like the swim, the bike, and the run.
Yes.
I never noticed that before until
Yes. That's why those are triathlon ones. And there's more, but I ran out of space, so I just put up the pretty ones now.
The most colorful?
The most colorful, yes. They're super fun. And then, of course, you know, I have a couple grandkids now. So I have 4-year-old granddaughter and an 8-week-old grandson. So that's always very fun.
That's gotta be cool because you can like watch them and then give them back.
Right. Oh, absolutely. You're like, oh, you're gonna be a little squirrely on me. Here's your mom and dad back. That's the best part of it. You're like, yay.
That's how I feel about kids in general. Like, it's just like I love kids. Babysitting, cool. Like, let me play with your kid, you know. But I can give them back.
Well, I feel like I love animals. I love pets, love dogs, but I kind of feel the same way about children and dogs. They have to be well behaved.
Yeah.
If they're well behaved, I'm great, love them, they're awesome, you know. But they start running around and climbing on chairs. It's like, oh my God, just sit still, you know. And it's just like, have control of your kids. Like the boys, they would sit. They were so good. They were really good with going out to dinner, and you know, we go out to dinner now, and you just see these kids, and they're jumping up and down on the seat behind you, and you're like, sit your kid down, you know. And then I'm like, maybe I don't like kids.
No, that's how
maybe I only like some kids.
Because I manage a restaurant right down the street here, and we have like a foosball table and giant Jenga, and Saturday night is kids eat free.
Oh.
It is a madhouse.
Oh, I can imagine.
Kids screaming and running around the restaurant, and I'm like, am I allowed to discipline these children?
Right.
Like,
right.
What do I?
Well, and especially in a restaurant because they get in the server's way, and you know, and it's just like, heaven forbid anybody drops anything on a kid. Who are they going to blame?
Right.
They're going to blame the server. They're going to blame the restaurant, and you know, I do insurance, so you know, I'm like, you better watch out. You're going to get sued because I know how this happens. I know how all that liability stuff pans out, and it's just like, but you know, if it's kids' night, it's fun. You got to think, but stay where you're supposed to stay, and watch where you're walking. And this is not. It's not the. What are those things called where you used to dive in the balls, you know? It's not the McDonald's.
The ball pit.
Yeah, it's not the McDonald's ball
place.
pit. Right, exactly. It's still a restaurant, you know? Still behave like one.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's my rant over.
Oh. So what's What's next after? How long are you planning on keeping this place, this running? Because you said you wanted to like retire and travel tomorrow if you could.
If
so
I could, I would. Yeah. So I have a perpetuation plan, and it's Casey for sure. And so they just have to be groomed. I definitely will stay on for quite a few years, but I hope to just like scale back to where I can start passing
like
off on some of their
phasing yourself
right. Yeah, just start letting them take a few more things. But then again, I'm a control freak, and so there's that. So even when I'm on vacation, I know. Poor Casey. He's like, "Relax, Mom. We got it." I'm like, "I don't know. I got an email. Is this handled?" You know, and just like, stop. But yeah, I tend to be a little bit of.
Well, plus this is like a fourth child for you, this business, right?
Well, it is, you know, and it's what I do, and it's what I started, and you know, and I've built it up to this, you know, and I built it up all by myself, and I didn't know how to run a business. What do I know? It was just me when I started it, and I was the only person working at the other agency from the guy I bought it from, and he couldn't afford much, so I was like, okay, one of two things is going to happen. I'm either going to take off work every day and be at home with my kids, and you know, when they're off of school. Or if I'm going to kill myself and work all these days and be away from my kids and not be home with them, then I'm going to buy the agency. So I went to the owner and I gave him these options. He said, "Oh, I'll sell it to you." Oh my gosh, Nick, I was like a nervous wreck. I was like sick to my stomach the whole night for. I had shakes going in talking to him. And he's like, "Oh yeah, I'll sell." I'm like, geez, why didn't I do this like a year ago, you know?
And that was like a relief, or did that add to the anxiety?
No, it was a huge relief because then I'm like, okay, now I have a direction. So if I'm going to be putting 40, 50 hours a week into this, it's going to be for my future and my success and my benefit, and not, okay, you're making salary so he can go off and spend a month in Virginia and not know how to work a computer, because you know, you guys might not remember the days before the internet existed. So, you know, I was new coming into this when the internet was coming up and all the insurance companies were going web-based, woo. And he didn't know anything. That fool was still typing on a computer, on a typewriter, you know? To this day, he still has a typewriter and types on a typewriter.
Oh, man.
But he's 85 and it's what he knows.
Yeah.
He's 88. I don't know. He's old. Yeah, so it was a big relief. It was a big like, okay, I'm ready for this next step and this next challenge, and it was tough, you know, but I was fortunate I could bring my kids into the office when they were sick, and so that worked out really well to have all that and not have corporate America where you had to, you know, couldn't be late, couldn't have sick, you know what I mean? Just all those other things that you are beholden to when you work for corporate America. So so it worked out well, and that was so I started February 7th, 1994. And then Casey was like just over 2. No, Casey was like 15 months old. Yeah, Casey was only 15 months old. And then I bought it August 1st, 2001. And so I've been doing it ever since. And we've just continually grown and taken on more things. And you know, there's challenges. There's always challenges with everything. But I think we got a really good staff now. You know, we've got Casey, we got Christina, just hired on Ashley. So.
And then you, it's just the 4 of you. You run the whole place.
Yeah. But we're good, you know, we're a good team, you know, we all talk, we all communicate, we all have each other's back, you know, so it's not like none of us are above doing anything, right? Like when things get busy and everybody's doing stuff, I'll make phone calls, I'll sell a quote, I'll shred, I'll scan, whatever needs to be done, you know, because that's just what you do. Yeah. You know, you just make it happen, and whatever it takes, everybody just jumps in and handles it, and so that's cool, and that's fun.
That's good because I feel like that kind of mentality like trickles down from the top, so like, you're the owner and you're in here every day at the office, at your desk, but you'll also do like the menial tasks like shredding paper or filing or scanning or whatever.
Clean the bathroom, wash the dishes in the sink, I don't know, whatever needs to be done, you know?
And so that's cool though, because then whoever else is here knows that like if they have to go do it, it's not because like they're low on the totem pole and they gotta do the grunt work. It's like,
exactly.
You do it too.
Right.
So everyone has to do it.
I mean, and honestly, the more you do and the more you start that way, the more well-rounded you are, and the more well-rounded you are in any business, whether it's insurance or whatever it is that you do, the more valuable you are to the company you're working for, because then you can pick up slack anywhere you go. But also just the more knowledgeable you are, the better employee or owner that you are. And it just makes things better. It makes things run smoother. I mean, at any other job, I'm sure you've had jobs where the more you know, the better option for opportunity to promotion too.
Right.
Because you're like, oh, well, Nick already knows this and Nick already knows that. So heck, he can just slide right in and work on that. And so it just makes you more valuable as an employee too. And especially if you do it with that attitude, like if something happens, I'm like, oh, can you do this? Yeah, no problem. It's like, cool,
Yeah,
they're not having attitude like,
oh
my gosh, right, oh my word, what do you mean I have to go shred or I have to go scan, but hey, just we all work together as a team, and that's I think the most important.
Yeah.
And we're all about family, I mean, my big thing is family. My family comes first. We all have to work, but family's family. You have each other's back. Christina's daughter had the day off work today, or day off of school today, so she was here. She's a great kid. She sits here all day. I feel bad for her. She might get a little bored. 7 years old, do at my mom's office watching games all day, but she's a great kid, and it's a win-win, because then Christina can come into work. She doesn't have to take a day off and count against that, and that's stuff that's just really important. We have to have strict office hours, but at least there's flexibility with things like that.
Yeah.
So.
It's awesome.
It is awesome. I like it. It's fun. It's what I do. It's my baby. Like you said, it's my 4th child.
Well, I feel like I'm out of questions. Do you have anything else you want to talk about?
I don't know. This is kind of like new. I was like all nervous. My palms are all sweaty. I'm like, good grief.
I know. It took me the first few that I did. I was like, I don't know what's going on. I said like 500 times. And
yeah, well, and I mean, our journey, I mean, you went through some things, and we had some stuff going on, and I was like, God, Nick's such a good kid, but he's got to find his way, and then you turn around and found your way, and here you are, and doing well, and all those good things, and that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying. I feel good.
I've watched you ride your waves, and there have been some tough waves to watch you ride, because you are a good kid,
waves,
and it's hard as just the parent in you comes out, and you're like, come on, Nick, get it together, and you have, and it's great to see that.
Thank you.
And like I said, gosh, I don't know when you and Cody, I think you and Cody were friends first.
Yeah, Cody and I met freshman year of high school.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I didn't start hanging out with Casey probably until after I graduated.
Right. Well, Casey doesn't like people. So
yeah.
That's not surprising.
And I didn't know. I probably started hanging out with Kenneth around the same time, although we didn't hang out as much.
Right.
But
right.
Yeah, Cody and I have been friends since like 14 years.
Yeah. It's been a long time.
Years. Yeah, a long time.
Like I said, there's been a lot of journeys that have crossed, and you guys have been through, watched you struggle with, and.
Yeah.
And so it's cool. It's cool that you're doing this, and it's fun, and it's awesome. And like I said, as a parent, you're like, oh, yay! And you've come over for dinners at our house, and
I was at your house for Christmas a couple years ago.
Yeah, it's fun. We welcome you in as part of the family. I treated you just like my kids sometimes. Like, come on, get it together. So, but it's happy to see that you've come around and doing all good things.
Thank you.
And it does. It takes time. We all have those hard lefts.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, 1 semester before I was due to get my bachelor's. That's all I had left. 1 semester, and I was done. Bad relationship, abusive, and took a hard left and said, all right, I got to do something. Drop out and join the Coast Guard,
But those are the things, like those things happen for a reason.
They do. I agree. I am a firm believer everything happens for a reason. And I'm a firm believer in, second chances. And everybody makes mistakes. My dad is a successful businessman, and he did a lot of, so growing up, I worked for my dad to earn money for my first car. So I worked for my dad, but he had construction guys. So I wasn't allowed to be there while they were there because, I was his little daughter. He didn't need me around these rough guys out of prison. And so he always hired a lot of times people out on work probation programs because he said everybody makes mistakes and everybody deserves a second chance. And so he always did that. And so he always tried to give these guys a break. And I wasn't allowed to be there when they got there, and I wasn't allowed to go home. But then we always had come up after I'd work, and I'd get ready to leave at 3:30, and there was a cop there, and it's like, oh, who are you waiting for today, And so that was pretty funny. But everybody has a second chance, and that's what you're given, and it's great, and that's what you do, and that's, mistakes are made, people fall, but what was I watching? Oh yeah, the Oscars. Not a big Oscar person, but anyway, I was watching it, and Joaquin Phoenix got up there, and he goes over the top, whatever. He did his thing, he did his spiel. But at the end, he was like, I've been a scoundrel. And he's like, I've been a scoundrel. I haven't been a good person. He's like, but everybody in Hollywood gave me a second chance to do this because he won Best Actor for The Joker.
He was the Joker, yeah.
Yeah, which was a hard role to fill. And but anyway, and he's just like, I think that's when we're at our best, when we're helping people with redemption. And I thought, that's a really cool thing to say, and I subscribe to that. So yeah, it's a cool thing.
That's kind of what I'm doing here. That's like the basic premise of like the comeback journey.
Right.
It's like everybody makes mistakes, everybody slips up, but like
right.
where you were at or like what you did doesn't shape or define the future.
Right.
You have all power. Everything that you need is already inside of you. You just have to access it.
And it doesn't define you, as long as you learn from your mistakes and you move on, you become a better person and don't repeat them. That's what life's all about. Nobody's perfect. But I thought that was a great thing to say. I thought, all right, I like that.
I like the word scoundrel.
I know, it was so funny. He's like, I've been a scoundrel. And I was like, okay, that's pretty funny, And I hadn't seen the movie. Apparently it's good.
I haven't seen it either, but I also heard that it's really good.
Yeah.
I feel like it'd be really hard to follow Heath Ledger.
I think so too. But I think he did. But I think if anybody could, it was him.
Yeah.
Because he's a little
wacky.
He's a little wacky out there himself, So I think if anybody could, he was probably the best role for it.
Yeah.
And then of course he made some reference about a quote his brother said that I can't remember, because he died a long time ago. River Phoenix.
River Phoenix.
Did you not know River Phoenix?
I know the name.
Showing my age. Oh no. Yes, River Phoenix. There's a whole bunch of phoenixes and they're all named River, Lily, Flower. They're all named like that. So yeah, River Phoenix was a really good actor as well in his day, and he ended up overdosing at the Viper Club up in LA, which of course is a rowdy place, and it's been years though since that happened. But it was just kind of cool how he still made reference to that and to his brother and still paid homage. I think it's been 17 years since his brother died. Anyway, I don't know how I got on that tangent, but there you have it. But no, I don't know what else.
Yeah, I think that's gonna conclude.
Okay. Hope it wasn't too boring. I didn't know what to do or say.
This is awesome. If you guys want to check out Staci on Instagram, I believe it is Will Quote for Coffee.
Yeah, but it's got underscores in it and.
Will _ quote
right.
_ the number 4.
The number 4, yeah.
_ coffee.
Right.
And check it out.
See what dorks we are.
Yeah, it's a lot of like goofy, funny videos and.
Yeah, we have fun. Everybody's got to work.
So it is. They make it fun.
And everybody's got to work, and nobody likes insurance. So we try to lighten it up and make it as pleasant as possible. So anyway,
cool.
Well, thank you, Nick.
Yeah,
I appreciate
awesome.
it. It was very fun, and good luck and thanks.
Thank you. All right, everybody. That concludes this episode. Check us out on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, all that good stuff, and we'll see you next time.
Bye. Peace.
Okay.
I don't have any idea.
I think it was good.
All right, it might be